time to finish what we started earlier. So this is the finish reduction. But anyway, for those that are interested, when you ask about what it looks like when it's done, this is it. And now we're going to do the cream sauce and the chicken and cook off the pasta all at the same time. Cleanup for this took a while, so bear with me. This is just some time a little cleanup. But yeah, we're here we go. But yeah, I'm gonna taste, even though I already know how it tastes. It's perfect. The heat comes in about midway through the palate, and then as it's leaving, it doesn't hit the back of the throat like really bad heat would do. So if you're doing it right, this is what you get. So we're gonna move this out of the way because we're gonna slice the chicken up. But we got to get our water on for the fettuccine. Now I didn't handmade fettuccine. The last time I handmade fettuccine, I was not real happy with how it came out. So but for those of you that don't know, when you're Jen Thunder, Mercedes, thanks for being here. For those of you that don't know, when you're cooking pasta, whether it be cremette or barilla, you want your water, you don't oil your water. So you don't oil your water. Oil does not allow, once it coats the pasta, it does not allow your sauces to stick to the pasta. But you also still want to salt your water. And when you salt your water, you want to do it, as the Italians say, to the sea. Your water should taste like seawater. It should be that salty. It adds that salt flavor into the pasta so that when the sauce hits the pasta, it adds to the flavor. So yeah, not anybody can boil water, by the way. I know people that have a very hard time boiling water. So mostly depends on their stove. And I will continue to use pink Himalayan salt for pasta water. Now, some people like to reserve pasta water. I have no need for that on this one, so we'll check the seasoning levels on that here in just a minute. But we're going to do a quick wash on the pan for the chicken. when you are using tri-ply stainless, barkeeper's friend is your friend. Cleans off everything very well. It leaves a nice finish on your pan without ruining your pan. Obviously you don't want to, if you do use non-stick, you can't use barkeeper's friend on that. But this is for the chicken, where we'll be reserving the sauce. Not everybody can use a tri-ply pan very well. Most people are way too used to cooking on no-stick pans, and so they don't know how to use tri-ply well, whether it be a Califon or something like that. You need much lower temps on tri-ply pans, and most people don't understand that, because they're very heat conductive, and heat conductive pans will scorch very easily, and you don't want to scorch. So and when you scorch, you can clean it off. Takes a lot more work, but it doesn't hurt the pan really, but it's just a lot more work. But scorching affects the flavor, so we don't want to scorch. So we're going to slice the chicken. No, scorching, whether you're using gas or electric, scorching is not a foregone conclusion. It should never be a foregone conclusion on your pans. If you're scorching, you're not cooking right. And there's a big difference between a searing and a scorching. And if you don't know the difference between searing and scorching, maybe you should probably come back to the channel the next time I do a cooking stream. You remember what I said for the first stream earlier. You always sharpen your knives right out of the gate. Every time you use your knife, it should be sharpened. Sharp knives are safe knives. Dull knives are dangerous. Dull knives will actually cut you far more readily than a sharp knife will, and they do far more damage. And because we're doing chicken and we're using, when we're making a cream sauce, we're going to be using butter. We'll be getting that ready in just a moment. We're going to be strip cutting these breasts. I managed to get through earlier, prep from earlier, without any noggin knocks on my overhanging pans. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but very good sharp knife. And I'm not even really putting any pressure on these other than to hold the chicken still. That's how you know you're getting a good sharp knife. And when I say strip cutting, it's just like you would see like on a chicken strip right before you bread it and fry it. And once again, because we're going to be doing this, cooking the chicken off in a reserve of the Cajun pasta, or excuse me, the Cajun sauce, instead of seasoning the chicken. Now some people will tell you they trim off the fat cap on chicken. I actually like to have the fat from the chicken rendered into the sauce while it's cooking. What do you need your oven at for the garlic bread?
400, please.
Convection, okay?
I would prefer just to use the top rack.
Okay.
Top oven.
All right. Here we go. All right, guys. So this is the tri-ply, and I have it set at a very low temp. And you should be able to pat your pan and feel a little bit of the heat coming through without like scorching your hand. It's a really good place to start. So we're going to bring the reduced Cajun sauce over, and we will ladle out, stir actually first. We'll kind of go around and come away from the sides of this pan. Bring everything to the middle, ladle and flip. You want a good mix. All right. Remember, we started with the vegetables being about this high, and this is reduced all the way down to sub rim level of the pan. And your vegetables should be very, very soft. And oh, they're meeting over dinner. They're having a dinner meeting, so that's what this is for. So I'm going to finish this. I'm going to make this for them, and then I am going to skedaddle and let them have their meeting in private. So that's enough of that sauce, roughly. But yeah, so your vegetables, the peppers and the onions, are all very soft. They're not dissolving, but they're nice and soft and have a little bit of an opaque look to them, almost kind of that border of translucent. Obviously, the onions are very translucent. Remember, we don't even need to season the chicken because the chicken's going in to the Cajun base and will absorb the feel and the flavor and intensity of the Cajun base before we add in cream sauce that we're going to be making. And it's, if you've ever made Alfredo from scratch, it's basically an Alfredo, but you'll be adding that to the top of this sauce. And you notice I'm laying the chicken in on top of the sauce as it reheats. You can start to turn that up just a touch. It's an interesting concept, Kali official. Your fish is barking, so you have a dogfish. And meowing, so you have a dog catfish. It's terrifying. Terrifying. I don't know how you're going to live. And cheers talking to your couch. It's also equally terrifying. So then we're just going to do about 1 tablespoon of, about a 1/4 stick of butter on top of this. That'll help loosen up the sauce just a little before we add in the cream. We're in that particular season in Minnesota right now when it comes to butter. Minnesota has 2 seasons. You have butter on the counter at all times, but you have soft butter season and hard butter season. And we are in hard butter season right now. No matter what you keep your house at for temp, unless you set your house at 85, your butter's going to constantly feel like it came just out of the fridge. And if you're afraid to put butter on the counter, you need to live a little, because your butter will last pretty much forever on the counter. However, margarine or pre-softened butter for spreading, no, you don't want to do that. So taste to see if our water tastes like the sea. Not quite yet. Need a little bit more salt. Remember, a good salt, like a sea salt, like a Celtic sea salt or a Himalayan, it takes a little bit more of that for flavor than standard iodized table salt. We use next to no iodized table salt anymore. Pretty much there. Wonderful. So, hit that like if you haven't subscribed yet. Subscribe. We do more than cooking here. I'm always cooking on this channel, by the way. It's just what I'm cooking are different things. If I had my way, we would have natural gas or propane for cooking. It's just not feasible right now. We're talking. It's probably just to run a gas line and buy a gas stove. And if you notice, I have a dual oven. So I have a lower oven here that is standard bake and convection, as well as with the keep warm. I love convection for a lot of recipes, not just for baking per se. We have an upper oven that's really good for, like warming up. So what we have here is this is Minnesota's guest tonight, makes homemade sourdough, cottage industry, and so it's a cottage industry sourdough with a garlic and herb spread on it that they'll be having with their meal. It's very carb heavy. I don't know how people can survive on that. I used to eat that stuff all the time. So they'll be having that with, and that's really good in the upper oven because the temp, this oven gets the temp like that, and it holds that temp and is very accurate, and it also has a broiler in it. So we have the upper oven that warms up fast, great for doing pizzas. If you do not have a pizza stone, I would recommend that you get one. I preheat my pizza stone even when I'm doing a fathead pizza crust. So it heats up very fast, does a great job there. And then we use the convection for everything from, so I do a poor man's version of sous vide. And if you don't know what sous vide is a French form of cooking where you take your product, that whatever your protein is, and you vacuum seal it. And it's an expensive system to use, and so I don't have any way of doing sous vide the way it's done traditionally. So I have developed a sous vide style of cooking that I can do a lot of different flavors with. So I'll show you guys that sometime. But always have your colander ready ahead of time, by the way. So if you guys can see, we're starting to get some action. So, what's going on here? Sorry, a message come in. So, I know this is not as exciting as earlier, but here we go. Oh, Jen, thanks. You sent a floating heart gift. Very much appreciated. If you're tuning in for the first time and you wonder what the channel is about, make sure you go and check out the About You page, or About Me page. Subscribe. We talk about everything from police misconduct to other government misconduct. We talk libertarian philosophy versus conservatarianism and conservatism and leftist ideology and Democrats, Republicans, whatnot. Do a lot of man on the street stuff. I'm working on a few stories right now, so if you're about government and local government accountability, as well as cooking, you're going to enjoy the channel. So the water's right where we want it to be. So now we're going to start pressing the chicken down into the sauce. And the nice thing about doing the chicken this way is the chicken, even though it's cut, already, it will keep a nice tenderness to it, to the point where even though we're using silicone spatulas, we are able to actually cut through the chicken using the spatula. You cut the chicken in relatively equal strips. Part of that is for the cooking consistency. Now, if you take away nothing else from cooking with me and we're doing pasta, don't ever break your pasta. If you ever tell anyone that I told you to break your pasta, I will dox you. For myself, I will come to your house and I will strip your entire home of any potential for. I will take away your colanders. I will take away any pasta I find in your house. You will be forever forbidden to use pasta and tell people that you know me. You do not break your pasta. That's terrible and it's abusive. Also, you don't have pasta sauce, folks. You have pasta, you have noodles. They're different. And you make a sauce to complement your pasta, but you don't make pasta sauce. And there is no such thing as spaghetti sauce. I've never, ever, ever referred to something as a pasta sauce or spaghetti sauce. Alfredo is a sauce. It's also, not only is it a sauce, it's a sauce that's based off of a mother sauce. And there are 5 mother sauces, and we will get into that some other time. But yeah. If you've never studied the mother sauces, please look into them. Good. Never break your pasta. There you go. Let me take a look here. As you can see, the chicken is taking on that white, but it's taking on that white-orange feel or appearance to it. It's exactly where you want it to be. Before we add the cream, we will make sure the chicken is cooked all the way through. Yeah, Mercedes, this is Mrs. Minnesota came home from the bistro today, and she walked in and she goes, "Oh, that smells so good." And then of course I had her taste the base sauce. So because it's her meal for her and her friend. So So you're not going to be able to see this very well, but I can actually, like I said, the chicken is now so tender. I'm literally cutting it with a soft silicone spatula as we go. And it is done. The chicken is done. So, now if you remember, if you were here earlier and you went shopping for product with me as we were preparing the meal, we bought a heavy whipping cream, which again, most people will recognize that as part of a good, part of a good Alfredo. Do not ever buy canned Alfredo. Ugh. Once again, I will disown you. We cannot be friends if I find out that you buy canned Alfredo. But you also don't have to spend $10 on heavy whip. So now the goal here. How long is your garlic toast going to need to cook?
Probably like 10 minutes.
How many?
Here, 10 minutes.
Okay, I'll just keep her in the living room so she doesn't have to. You don't have to overdo your timing on your pasta, to cook on your pasta. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I literally am just able to cut through this chicken just like butter with this. Once again, it's a very flexible, soft silicone spatula, and it just cuts through this chicken perfectly. And that's why we cook the chicken in the sauce. matchy bowls for their dinner. No, you never add oil to your water when you're cooking pasta. It makes the pasta not stick, but it also keeps the sauce from sticking. So I used to be an advocate of olive oil or whatever for pasta, but I no longer do that. Most self-respecting Italians who cook traditionally will not add oil to their water, and they oversalt their water by American standards. So
So predominantly yellow lab, and then there's some basset.
he's Bassadox Labrahoon.
Is he such a, basset lab or?
Bassadox Labrahoon.
He also has some, ducks. So he's just a rainbow of everything.
And you want to pull your fettuccine, especially when it's just right at el dente, and let it finish cooking. And you do not rinse pasta with cold water. You don't want to do that. There are all sorts of tricks that restaurants do, bathing or things, which I understand because you got to bring that temp down right away. But we're going from cook to serve. So cook to serve, cook to serve. Remember that. You're going to cook to serve, so you don't want to chill anything. You don't want to chill and bring it down unless you're serving a cold dish. So like you're doing a fresh shrimp cocktail, then you cook your shrimp, flash them hot water to that red color that you see on cooked shrimp, and then you drop them immediately into iced lemon water. So now we're at the point where we can begin to add. Do I always? On the weekends, I do 98% of the cooking for the household. And then during the week, she does about 50%, and then the rest of the time I cook for myself. I'm predominantly high protein carnivore. Do a lot of cooking with my eggs from the Freedom Flock. So this is the cream-based sauce or the cream for the base sauce. Remember, this is a Cajun style, and so we're embracing the Northern Italian French influences on Louisiana, while also embracing the Creole Haitian native spice love. And we're going to bring this to a very low boil, and then add in some Parmesan, shredded Parmesan. Gotta check my pasta, see where we're at. Oh, not quite at el dente. Yep. You're making cheese butter soup. It's interesting. Good to see you, Skipper, by the way. Thanks for the super chat. So, Oh, goodness. That is absolutely to die for. There's nothing you're allergic to that I did not have.
No, I asked her to change the name. Is it almost ready? I know.
You two are eating, not me.
Oh, okay. Has plans. Well, he's also more rigorous on the other. He's going to sell it. Oh, nice.
Well, I'm mostly we don't have any wine, but maybe to make you a drink. So. Frenchy fry, that's interesting. Thanks for sharing that. I hope that you will sub to the channel. We can do everything, cook. I cook on politics as well. If you guys are interested, Skipper, Mike Arthur here from Vet Nation. He's my co-host along with AVA Kahanu from the Veterans Affairs Media. Tomorrow we are doing an episode of Vet Nation Unexplained with a gentleman named Chad, who's going to be talking to us about his experiences with time slips. And we're going to be talking about time slips and what they could possibly be and where they come from and what causes them. Let's check our pasta one more time. Pasta's almost perfect. Hubby made a potato, carrot, onion stew. Interesting. Any protein? So, probably not going to be able to see it here. The lighting is not very good for showing. But even, so like if you're using linguine, using spaghetti, or even fettuccine, an al dente is going to have just a very small hint of white in the center. All right, this is ready to drain. Okay, so this has got a nice boil, rolling boil to it. And now we are ready for the parm. And notice I haven't added no seasoning to this at all. Me? New. once again, you can get really into, people just absolutely insist that you buy nothing but top shelf products. And if you're on a budget, like I am, top shelf items just aren't feasible. And honestly, most of the time you're spending money on top shelf items and you're not getting better quality. There are a few things. I kind of look like Tom York. I've never heard that one before. My son would get a kick out of that. He's a big fan of Radiohead. So the parm is a little bit for seasoning and a little bit for thickening. You can way overdo parm or cheese in these sauces, by the way. Very easy to do. You don't want it to you don't want the cheese to be so thick and heavy in your sauce that it makes your sauce stringy. You just want it lightly creamy. So
Jesus Christ! You know, like, so the reason why I was asking you, like, obviously,
oh, that's absolutely perfect. One piece of chicken here. Check the tenderness on the chicken. So here we go. Don't know if you can see it. Chicken doesn't even require real chewing. Go. All right, so pasta is still steaming hot. Check the consistency, and it's a little sticky because it's a starchy food, right? So, but it's perfect doneness right now. So. Back this up a little bit so you guys can see. A little bit. All right. Here we are.
They were like, Gary, come down here and talk about flour. When I gave him that list of what I needed for cheesecakes, did you hear him? He's like, you did all of this? I'm like, cheesecakes are expensive to make, son.
And
Like,
you need to, and you need to have a good cheesecake, like, you know, for a dinner menu. It's crazy that they have an option.
And now serve.
that apple dumpling dessert was amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was just too much prep or they didn't get enough. And then I know we had talked to Suzanne about like, hey,
It wasn't worth what
and it
we
just,
sold,
no.
like 3-4 days.
And so Suzanne never really got back to him about like dessert or about anything like that.
That always seems so hard. Well, we should just sold out of the slice.
We could even do like a rotating, like, I know like, especially the silks go like,
No,
this week, more of my chocolate silk pie has sold rather than the yummy chokeberry that was up there and the other pie. So even if we did just like,
Well, we could do pies, extra more, like,
that's not my area of forte. Regular pie is not my learn, but I mean, I have made pie crust before. I'm not great at it, but you know, I could learn that. Silks, like, those are so easy to get out of. They're just very quick to make too.
oh, he did get some said he did. Oh, good. He saw mine the other day. I was like, no.
And
He's like, oh, good, you got it. We're not celebrating salads.
I touch everything that I make.
So yeah,
Here we go.
we'll probably have to have like, probably protein. So of the,
Ladies,
Is it ready?
yay, let's go eat.
He's even serving us too, see, he got,
Ooh, fancy.
so if it's too much food or, what can I get you to drink? I have tea, like chamomile mint tea, or
Oh,
I
that
can
sounds
make
good.
you a cocktail,
Are
or
you having a
I am probably going to have a
Then
cocktail.
I will join you.
It's like
for
zero
cocktails.
sugar, like I use like a raspberry lemonade, and then I just top it with vodka. I don't make mine
No,
strong.
that sounds perfect.
Okay. Okay.
Sounds perfect.
all right. So there we.
And it
we
looks
have-
beautiful.
Yeah.
We have
Get
a
your
Cajun-based
cocktail.
sauce with finish of Alfredo, and she's
You have a very usable kitchen.
and so
A very
Um,
Usable kitchen.
and dinner is served.
Kitchen.
And
Yeah.
thanks for tuning in. If you haven't hit the like button, please do subscribe. If you like what I do with all my other content, make sure that you are looking at channel memberships. And yeah, we're gonna finish up there because I'm gonna get out of the house so the ladies can have the night to themselves. And I'm not making their cocktails because if I'm making the cocktails, Mrs. Minnesota is gonna be drunk before the end of the night. So, but that's the way we go. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and make sure you tune in tomorrow, 12:30, Vet Nation live for Unexplained. We're gonna be talking about time slips, and then tomorrow afternoon at 4:15, we're doing a live stream about more of the medical kidnapping out of Winona County, and talk about trying to get Baby Haven home to the family that she belongs to, and talk about the malfeasance of the social workers there. So we'll be doing another cooking stream real soon. So until next time, Sic Semper, Perez.